started here. All right. So now we are in our final 3 days, including today. We're just zooming along here. So interesting events. We have places coming to the campus asking us for people to be referred. And remember when we talk about reputations, remember that reputations, your reputation goes ahead of you. It speaks for you. Remember that? I hope y'all remember that because this is key. This is important. This is what gets you those jobs and that. So your reputation speaks for you when you are not there. So when people get referrals, personal references, things like that, people are going to refer people who are going to reflect the person that's doing the referring. And that goes back to work ethics, the type of work you put forth. Are you keeping up? Are you doing your work? Are you showing up? You are representing the person who does the referral. So people who want those referrals, people who want to be recommended. Um, this is it. What you're doing now affects how things happen out there in the future. It has been, always will be. You cannot get the top-notch referrals if you're not putting forth the effort. So that is something that's critical as companies come in. Now, I've mentioned before, skills equal money. How many people remember this? Skills equal money. List your skills separately on those resumes. Putting things down like good with machinery. List the skills. How many people remember that? List each one separately. Wake up, people. You should be remembering these things. This is what this class has been all about. Okay? Because here's a wake-up call. Starting in January, okay, people graduating right now, starting in January, we have way more students coming in to these programs, okay? We're talking hundreds more students than are going out. We have hundreds more welders coming in, hundreds more HVAC coming in, okay? Hundreds more electricians. Are you hearing this? Okay, so what does that mean as you going into the workforce? These people are coming up behind you. These are going to be people who are getting new techniques, new information, and then they are going to be hitting the workforce behind you. Keep up with new technologies in your fields. Continuing education. How many people know about continuing education? Learning more in your fields. How many people are up on this? Okay, Jordan, how about you? Are you up on that?
Oh,
Continuing education?
yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes, sir.
yes,
Indeed.
so always make sure you know what's going on in your field, what's coming up, okay? Because these new people, as they come into the field, they're going to be up and they are going to be direct competition. As you're going out there for jobs in your careers and that, they're going to be learning these same things coming out of these career prep classes. And out of people who come out of these career prep classes, about 80% follow the skills that we teach them. About 80%. So they are going into these interviews and they are doing these resumes and they are doing all the steps we tell them. So they are hitting all these things. About 80% of them are following the skills and they are hitting higher than the people who don't. So these are things to take into consideration as you go out there into the workforce. And I want you to keep that in mind that these are the people that are going to be going for the same positions and the same moving up and the same everything as you all are, and to stay on top of those games and always be prepared at all times. Okay, so that means they should be doing the same position you are and making more than you are if you don't use these same techniques. So this is part of the reason why we do this, because you negotiate your income, you negotiate and you navigate that interview. And Every one of you that did that interview, you did well. Okay. You have some skills that you may need to touch up on. You may need to polish. You may need to, but you did exceptional. You pull it out and you do well. Okay, so come at it with a complete package, which you're almost to the end. All right, so keep that up, keep that positivity, keep that going, and know that you can do this. And you do have a jump, you do have a whole year plus of being able to get those additional skills. And as you get that experience goes on that resume, and that experience speaks. Because now, if you decide, you know what, I want more money and this place isn't giving me the more money, or it's not giving me the home life that I want, now I can go to another place and I can say, look, and I've got this much experience now as well. And that's a negotiating technique because sometimes it's better to jump to another position and take that experience and use that to gain even more income, more balanced home life, more benefits, being able to work closer to home, because it's not always about just the money, but it's the other stuff that comes along with it that will allow you to save in the long run. All right. So that's how part of that negotiation works. All right. Any questions before we start? Everybody good? Yes, yes. Everybody good? All right. Okay. So here we
All
get
good.
going. All right. That's what I want to hear. We are almost to the end, so we want to make sure that everything's going good. Uh, One thing I do have to bring up, don't forget 65% or more to pass this class. It is a required class. I do have to say that because if you don't pass the class, you're going to be held up when it comes to the end of your courses and you have to retake this. So please make sure you are up to date on those assignments. I have extensions in for people who missed out on some week 3 assignments, but you can't just complete week 4 and magically expect to go over something if you have missing points. Okay, you would have to go over 100% on everything to make up for things that you are missing. So if you're missing things, you need to go back and complete those. Work is work. You have to do it. Okay, that's the way things, unfortunately come out. So that's it. Let's get to getting. So we're going to do some screen sharing here. And in case you didn't see the banners when you logged in, starting Monday, for those of you who still have classes, when you go into your next class, you will be having classes all the way up through Wednesday. And then, of course, Thursday and Friday, the campus is closed for Thanksgiving. Okay? So you will have Thursday off for Thanksgiving there, and that's always time to celebrate. Some people, especially if you're retail, I've worked retail before. I worked at a Walmart, and you may have to work additional hours. And I do apologize for how horrible people treat retail and food service workers. I think everybody should have to work retail and should have to work food service before they do anything. And then maybe people would appreciate how hard people work in those fields and, treat people well. Um, you might get frustrated with people, but treat them well. You don't know how horrible people treat those individuals in those professions. Okay, so Monday you had the ethics scenario. Today, those soft skills, leadership and actions, you have a couple of situations there. We want to know how you would handle it. Tomorrow, the mock interview, the results from career services, I put those in there. If you feel like you want to respond so you have something to do there, you can go in there and just put done. You don't actually have to do anything in here. You can just leave it. I put the grade in, that grade come back from career services. So it is in there, but you can see your actual paper. I'm actually waiting on one for one student, and so unfortunately I don't have that one back from career services. If you didn't do a mock interview, no, you don't have one. You also can't do the mock interview debrief if you didn't do a mock interview. If you're missing one, get a hold of career services. See if they can get one in for you. We have them there available all the way up to 6:30 p.m., and they can even do phone interviews. They are going out of their way to meet your schedule. If you're not able to get one in, it's almost like you're trying to dodge them, okay? So try to work with them. They're trying to help you. There is a reason for those mock interviews. So try to do them. Everybody else that's done them, they've had great things to say about them. So try to get that in. Okay. The director Q&A informational ones. This was like your first interview where you interviewed somebody, only this was somebody in a management position. There's a good chance that some of you will end up in some sort of leadership role on a team, over a group of people or with a group of people. It's not uncommon that you're going to have to make decisions and things like that. Talk to somebody who has led a group or is in charge, any type of managerial or leadership position, shift leaders, managers, things like that. Find out what it's like, especially if they've worked among friends as a normal person in an area and then they got moved up. What was it like? How did they get treated? Because sometimes you're not treated very well if you get bumped up and now you're looked at as a traitor to the people you called friends. Your career plan, that final project, there's a template. A couple of people haven't been able to use the template exactly. So they duplicated it. They put my goals, the skills needed for the future, put that down, and then short-term goals. That's perfectly fine. As long as you have all the components on it, yeah, just go in, start the assignment, do text, put down all the different areas, write them out. That's fine. You can write it on paper, take a picture, and do an upload as well. Some people feel more comfortable writing it on paper. I will accept it. I just need that assignment. I can't grade what you don't do. All right. And then, of course, that final exam works just like your midterm. And yes, indeed, on that home page, under the help screen, there is your study guide. Use the study guide. Don't just guess. If you think you don't are unsure of the answer, check it out right there. Just click on that study guide. You can pull this up and you can take a look at it right here. Okay. It's right here. You can read through that. All the answers are right here, etc. Okay. So it is there. It is available. Okay. Now, somebody had a problem reading the midterm, one with words through it. I'll try to do a new upload with without that the marks through there. Okay, so I'll try to get that out there for you so that it'll be a little bit easier for y'all to read. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? We all good? One person is awake. There we go. Come on, everybody, wake up.
No questions.
All right. So here we go. So today we're going to start talking about people in general and your career. All right. Because that's at the point where you're getting at. You're heading out there. Some of you are in positions. You've started externships. Um, some people have started in externships that have turned into roles already, and that's good. Typically, I get about 4 people in my class end up with their first jobs in this class. A lot of them happen in those interview sessions, talking with people, but we're going to talk about professionalism. We're also going to talk about multi-generational and multicultural workplaces. Don't confuse this with DEI, because I get some people who are like, well, I don't believe in DEI. Yeah, not this, okay? That is not what this is talking about. We're going to talk about successful careers. All right. So professionalism is actually a soft skill, and it's judgment, character, and behavior of someone that and what they're expected when they're trained for a given job, and it is your workplace skills and your self-management skills. So it is actually a soft skill in itself. Not everybody's a professional. They don't practice professionalism. Okay, so let's talk about this. So your self-management skills, that enables you to control your personal habits and makes the best use of your time and abilities. Being on time, being dependable, your time management, waiting until the last minute to complete everything, that throws off a whole team. Okay, you need to better manage your time because that doesn't set well in a lot of places, and you'll be pulled from the better projects. You won't move up. You'll see everybody else, newer people will come in and move up. Learn to manage your time. Going, well, I still have an hour to complete this. Well, yeah, but you wasted 3 hours walking around. We call them walkie-talkies. They walk and talk and walk and talk and walk and talk. Yeah, you get it down at the very last minute, but if you would have got it done earlier, then the next person could have did their part and the next person could have did their part. Okay? So learn how to manage that time. Emotional regulation. How many people have tempers in here? Or they can't control crying, or they get too emotional. Anybody in here? We don't have any people with tempers that they have to watch it. They have to bite their tongue. They say things that they shouldn't say. This is a big problem. A lot of people will lose their jobs over this right here. You can't just say whatever you want. Costs a lot of people their jobs right there. Leave that baggage, leave that temper at home. Does not belong here. Okay? This being on time, being late or absent, inconsiderate, and not tolerated. Your coworkers have to do the work, and they may not say it to your face, but if they do a blind poll or they ask how this person works, because a lot of companies will ask the other employees to give you an evaluation, and you won't know who says what. If you're late all the time, they're going to slam you. Okay? They don't want to do your work, okay? You're not paying them extra to do your work, and they don't like it, okay? Now, dependability is reliable and trustworthy. You tell me you're going to finish this by a certain time, or you're this, or you're this, and then you come back with a bunch of these excuses. Okay, excuses is a nice way of saying you're just going to lie to me, okay? Stop lying. Nobody believes you. You're wasting everyone's time. Quit making the excuses. You got an excuse for everything. You're going to give me an excuse for your excuse. Keep your word. If you can't do something, just say, I can't do it. Your honest reasoning and saying, I can't do it, means so much more to me than just lying to me or giving an excuse. Okay? Because you give me an excuse and then you don't live up to it. Now, not only does it still not get done, now I don't believe you. And if I can't believe you and I can't trust you, I'm going to stop moving you up. I'm going to stop giving you more work. And when it comes to evaluation, your opportunity for a raise is going to be lowered. Your amount's going to be lower. Why am I going to reward you for not being good? Okay. Raises, and do you have a question? Raises and things like that are based on these things. So if you're not following through, that's why you may not get as high of a rating. Okay. So everything is not everybody gets 10%, everybody gets a 3%, everybody gets a 2%. These are actually based, these evaluations are actually based on what you do. So this is a very important thing. The other thing, share of workload. We all know people who are great on offloading their work onto other people. The other thing is don't take on too much. because if you take on too much, your work quality might suffer. And sometimes we try to take on too much because we like to help other people. Okay. And this right here, important jobs are given to dependable people. If you are dependable, it'll be given to you. Okay. So learn, work smarter, not harder. Learn how to put things in order so that you can get things done in a more timely manner. Okay. We have discussions assignments here at Southern Tech. You have to do 2 postings. I tell people while you're in there, do both of them. I have class after class and other subjects besides this one. And students will go in and they will put one in and then they will not come back and put that other one in. And they will get a 65 in that class. And they're like, why do I keep getting 65? So I'm like, you're in there, put a post on another student. Well, I didn't have time. You're in there already. One more sentence means that much of a difference in your grade. And you didn't have time to write a sentence, but yet you had time to send me a whole email asking about this. So that's working smarter, not harder. Learn how to prioritize. And if you don't know how to prioritize them, ask for assistance. Okay. Sometimes people will put bigger things beside smaller things. Some people want to put smaller things so they get a sense like they've accomplished. Sometimes they put it in time order. Learn how to work so you become more efficient. Not everybody's going to work the same. So learn how to work to your skill advantage. Okay. And that emotional regulation, control it. Okay. So now we're going to talk about generations. That's people born in a time period, right? We hear about boomers all the time. So a multi-generational workplace is where employees of different age groups work and interact. How many people currently work with people of all different ages in their current job? You work with people at different ages. It's awesome. You learn from older people who may have experience. You may learn from younger people who have newer ideas or vice versa. So we're going to talk about these different groups and what they contribute. So this one, the book does not mention typically, but it's called the silent generation. And these people, look how far back they go, 1920 to 1939. We're talking old timers here. And they're still out there, 2% of this workforce. And they value tradition and history. Now, these generations are going to be in the final exam. I guarantee you they will show up somewhere. Okay. They believe in hard work. And the thing was, they were so dedicated. You went to work for a company and you died working for that company. All right. Now, boomers, we always hear about boomers. These are 1944 to 1964. Now, they were very ambitious, competitive, and strong work ethic. They were going to make a difference in the world, and they value that work relationship. Okay. They're hardworking, disciplined, and independent. I give my time to the company. That company, in turn, will be devoted to me. Notice the company was devoted to them. Things have changed since then. Now, Gen X. Any Gen X's out there? I'm a Gen X. 1960 through the early 1980s. Okay. Now, this is social, economic, and technical change. Okay. Woodstock, there was a war in there, and practical, resourceful, and independent. Okay. We saw the Berlin Wall fall. We've seen a lot of things change. We did, We Are the World. We did Farm Aid. Okay. We wanted, for the first time, a work-life balance. We were the ones that changed things. You are going to start giving work-life balance. Self-sufficient. We can do things on our own. We're adaptable. We change for everything. Pragmatic. Okay. We can solve things. Now, Gen Y, we're going to start hitting some people here. 81 to 96. Any millennials out there? Gen Y are the millennials. Anybody born in this time frame? Nope. We're going to hit you somewhere, so we're running out of time. So we're going to hit you somewhere. These people are tech savvy, ambitious, collaborative. You like to work in groups. You look for ways to be efficient. That you're flexible and socially responsible. You start looking more after the planet and things like that. And you're passionate about social environmental issues. You started saying, hey, we are not going to take you destroying us and the environment. Things have started changing. You stop being as home as much and start working more as groups. Okay, so now everybody who's a Gen Z, because you haven't responded to anything else, so I should be seeing lots of thumbs ups here, because if you didn't respond to anybody else, you must be Gen Z or you're not present out there. So who's what?
Maybe they're scared to share.
Or they're just not out there. So we can find out here. Let me go over here and we're going to find out. Let me get my cursor back here. There we go. Let's see here. Who do I got here? Anybody? Devante, what gen did you fall into?
Gen Z.
Gen Z, okay. Jessup, what generation did you fall under?
Gen Z.
Gen Z, okay. There we go. Didn't see them pop up. And Matthew, which one did you fall under? Matthew? No, Matthew.
Matthew's microphone is not working right now.
Okay, what gen did he fall under?
What gen do you fall under? Z.
Z. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now we know where everyone is. So this is what's unique about Gen Z. Computers have always been there for you. Gen Z was the first generation that home computers were there before you. Okay? You may not have had one specifically in your home, but they beat you to the houses. Okay? You're what we call digital natives. You have never lived in never been around where they weren't there. They have always been there. The first generation that this has ever happened in. They have always been there. So this is what's really unique to you. Everybody else, we were there before them. You're the first generation that they were there before you. So you guys typically like technology to work for you. You're adaptable to it. The other thing is you're open to diversity. You don't care about things as far as in people are people. We do our things. We have our own ideas. We want to be independent. We want to be our own bosses. We want to own our own businesses. We want to work the way we want. We want people to be treated fairly in the justice system. We want our earth to be our earth. Quit destroying everything. We want things to be more equal. Everybody should have a shot to make it to the top. And we are creative. We don't like to be blocked in. We need to be able to express ourselves. So this is something that some of the other generations have problems with because they were always taught stay within the lines. Gen Z's like, we're redrawing these lines and getting rid of the lines. We don't understand why you wouldn't want to just be able to live and be able to think on your own. So this is where conflicts can happen. So when you're in the workplace, we need to think about this and how other people think and understand that somebody who is older, they're so locked in, they don't understand why you're not locked in. And it's okay for people to have different ideas and we can respect them, but don't walk on them. So somebody who's locked into ideas, respect somebody being very open to new technologies and new this and new that, but don't knock that. And somebody who's very open to that, understand that this person does not get this, but try to help them. So try to bridge and see each other's differences. That old phrase, you haven't walked in my shoes. No, but what we can do is we can help each other. We can learn from each other all the way across because every generation has different ideas and different ways of doing things. And sometimes those experiences will help us build better, stronger teams. Then we throw this in to the whole thing, multicultural. The United States is a melting pot. We have people from all kinds of backgrounds. Everybody that's come to the United States, our families, our ancestors going all the way back have been immigrants of some sort. Other than the Native Americans that were born here, we all came from immigrant backgrounds, all the way back from Columbus was an immigrant at that time. So that's just facts. So we are multicultural. We all have some sort of difference in our backgrounds, okay? So our work environments are the same thing, very diverse cultures and identities. So we have what we call cultural competence. That's our ability to understand, communicate, interact, and collaborate with people from different cultures, okay? That's incredible because this is how we make better things happen. If we all think the same, we all look the same, we all act the same, we don't hear the best of the best. How many people go into a group or a team and you are tossing around ideas and that's how you come up with the best idea? Everybody has different ideas and then you choose the best. How many do that? Okay, now if you went into a team of yourself, you don't get the best ideas. This is the same type of thing. You hear different ways, you hear different ideas. This is how you get the best. Be open-minded, respectful, and communicative, okay? When we say embrace diversity, please do not get this confused with DEI. DEI is a different topic and people get mad, they get upset. It's been a word that gets tossed around and on the news and this and that and oh, we hate this, we don't like this, or we love this and blah blah blah. That is different. When we say embrace diversity, diversity is out there in the workforce. What we're saying here is know that you are going to work with people from different backgrounds of all types, meaning they think different, they talk different, they look different, no matter what, because every person is different. That's diverse, okay? Know how to work with people, period, and build relationships, period. That's what diverse means, okay? Now, Florida is a right to work state. Everybody know what Florida's right to work means? Kind of a misconception there. What that means is they can fire you at will. They don't need a reason. They can just come up to you and say, you're fired. No reason they can fire you. But usually you have a company policy and procedures book. That is a contract. It is a written contract between you and your company. And inside that company's contract, a lot of times that will describe a progressive discipline. And if it does, it may tell you you have to have a verbal warning, a written warning, a suspension, and a termination, or any combination. This is critical here in Florida because if you have this written contract supersedes that right to work. That means it overrides it, okay? That means it trumps it. That means it is better than that right to work. That means they can't just come up and say, you're fired. If you have something like this in your policy and procedure, that means they would have to warn you first. Then they would have to give you that. Then they would have to do this and have to do that. Whatever it says in that manual, they have to follow before they terminate you. If they have nothing like that, they can just walk up, boom. You could be doing everything perfect. You can be the best employee ever, but they decide, I don't like your haircut today. You're fired. And they don't have to tell you why. Okay? That's it. They do not have to tell you why. Now, you're going to spend a lot of hours at work, and you need to make sure that you're doing what you should do. Always continue your professional development. Look at what's going on currently in your field. Once you get there, it's not coasting. Find out what's the latest things happening in the electrical field. You know, what kind of new motors, what type of new circuitry, what type of smart devices do I need to know about so when clients call, I know how to install them. What do I need to know? What type of new welding? What new materials? What new metals? How do I deal with that? What new techniques are out there to build the strongest, the better? All these things you need to know. The medical field's constantly changing. Drugs change classifications. We had things that were considered over the counter, they moved to narcotics. And always continue to network. Keep up, talk to people in your professions, find out what's going on, and you may find out better places to work, move up, etc. And always keep realistic expectations and respect your money. You work hard for that. Know where it's going. Don't be foolish with it and don't spend it all. Always find a way to put a little bit back, even if it's $1, $2. People go, well, that's not enough to put back. Anything more than 0 is enough to put back. Okay? Be a good employee. It sounds so simple, but so many people won't do this. Maintain your professionalism. Meet or exceed job performance. Don't just, I can get by with it. Be positive. Communicate. Dependable, reliable. Feedback. Okay, if they tell you feedback, be willing to learn. Now, some people just are micromanagers and they're going to keep slamming you. Look for a door, apply elsewhere, find your way out. If you're just not going to go anywhere, find your way out. And look for ways to make that company a success. Look for ways to improve them. And this is how you'll know you're a success. You're going to feel like you're doing something and you're going to be satisfied. You're going to grow professionally. You're going to meet people in the field that respect you, and you're going to have good relationships with that. You're going to feel like you've done something. You're going to have some flexibility. Your home life is going to be better. This is how you know you've achieved success. Yes, the money will be there, okay? Somebody's always going to go, the money, the money, the money. Yes, the money will be there. If you have this, this will happen. If you just get this, that's no guarantee that all this will happen. And if all this doesn't happen, this will go away because you're going to be unhappy and you're going to mess things up and you're going to lose the job. Okay? You have to have all of this to keep getting this. Okay? So now I want you to think about this. I want you to go and think about the companies you want to work for. And I want you to think of 3 details about the company, not a job listing. 3 things about that company, why you like that company. It's got to be 3 things about that company that you like and why you think that company is good for them. Okay? So think about that company and why that works for you. 3 things. Why you think this company would work out well for you. And all these questions are things that you would go through when you're looking for that job, you're looking for that career. These are the reasons why we have you doing it, because you are building yourself up into this big ball, this big force that's going to hit out there. And you're going to know everything that you need. This is what I want. This is what I need to get paid. These are my skills. I can do this. I can walk into that job. Here's my resume. I'm going to ask you these questions, and you're going to hire me because this is what I can do, and this is how I'm going to make your company. And boom, there's my mic drop, because I am everything plus a bag of chips. This is how you succeed. And that is what you do. That's how you put everything together. And you can do that. All right? Everybody good? Everybody got that? You see
Yes,
how
sir.
everything's going together. All right. So that's it for today. We will see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock.